Mama, good morning to you.
Good morning, Roland Walker. How are you?
You know that the African Cup of Nations is taking place from tomorrow.
Yeah, I also do know that
Starting.
we haven't won any of our friendlies.
Yeah, I think we drew against. That's 1 point.
A draw is not a win.
Against Namibia.
Said one.
Yeah, I know. But
so I actually don't know. I mean, it's just the fact that it's Africa Cup of Nations, but not necessarily because the Black Stars are in there. For me.
One thing I do know, I think that most of the years of the tournament, when we don't seem to have a lot of hope for the Black Stars, they tend to kind of do well.
Okay.
No, I mean, not go. We haven't won in for the last 37.
Oh, okay. I know the reason I support the Blacks is the fact that Andre Didier is captain. So, I have the opportunity to see how he's going to
captain the team.
Exactly.
Let's see how it goes. Maybe. For me, I have great hope in the team. So
yeah. Echo, when is our first game? Tuesday, and we're playing which team? Benin or Guinea?
No, I think the first game is against Benin.
Okay.
Yeah, West African rivals. So.
Okay, we see how that goes.
Is it Benin or Botswana? Benin.
You two, you're not sure. Yeah. Okay, Echo, be sure for us, eh?
Echo, check for us.
We have some newspapers in the studio.
Yeah,
I'll do the Daily Graphic, the Ghanaian Times, the Business Finder, the Daily Dispatch, the Daily Guide, the Daily Statesman, the Daily Heritage.
Benin.
And I think there's another one.
Our first game is against Benin.
Benin, okay. Yeah. All right, so basically these are the newspapers. We'll spend a bit of time and doMyJoyOnline.com, touch base with the BBC as well. So here we go with the Daily Graphic newspaper, front page of the Graphic. Martin Amidu speaks, takes responsibility for defects in Ayariga's charge sheet. If you remember, the court struck out 1, 2, 3, 4, I think, and 5. There's only one charge standing. And he spoke to the Daily Graphic newspaper. Drivers rescue FPSO Kwame Nkrumah worker who fell in ocean. Also, Awaso Mines demonstrators will face the law according to minister. Ensure protection of all residents. IGP directs police commanders. Center spread of the paper. Center spread of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Here we go. Ghana flies medication via drone to mark World Sickle Cell Day. Also, President inaugurates committee on emoluments of Article 71 office holders. And that's gotten some of our MPs talking already. They want an increase, right? Back page of the paper. Tier 2 semi-finals contest. Ash Gold put Kotoko to sleep in Accra. And after Hearts lost to Kotoko, I'm excited about this win. In Zama, Kotoko ousts Unistar Academy. There will be a lot more details in sports right after the newspaper headlines with Nana Asari Bediako. Let's jump into the Ghanaian Times newspaper now. Front page of the paper. Power outage hits Volta and Oti regions. Riots at Ghana Bauxite Company. Arrest prosecute workers. Management appeals to government. Illegal felling, smuggling of rosewood, 200 containers shipped out between 2000, as in January 2018 and January 2019. One killed in clashes at Achimota. A man was on Tuesday night stabbed to death at Achimota, Accra, following a clash between two gangs. The deceased, identified only as Starboy, was rushed to the Achimota Hospital where he died. There's a continuation of that story, background to that, in the paper today. Center spread, arrests, prosecute workers. Well, full story of that. That's management of the company whose vehicles workers bent, including a bungalow. The management of the Ghana Bauxite Company has called on the government to immediately arrest and prosecute workers involved in vandalizing and destroying the company's property last Monday during a violent demonstration. This, according to J.K. Fang, general manager of the company, was necessary to restore investor confidence, which has been adversely affected by the actions of the workers. There's a quote attributed to him. He says, "For now, all we are asking from the government is to immediately bring to book all the workers who took part in the despicable act." Investor confidence in Ghana has now been bruised, and so a quick response from government is necessary to erase fears and doubts an investor will have about the company. He was interacting with the Lands and Natural Resources Minister Kweku Asoma-Treme and some other officials from the Ministry and the Minerals Commission at Awaso in the Western North region. The thing about this is even the police hasn't been able to make any arrests. Why? Because they actually didn't see anybody perpetuating the illegal act. You have to get people who can say, oh yes, I saw Roland.
Exactly.
You can't just go and arrest workers.
Because at the end of the day, you should be in a position to adduce evidence. Yes.
All right, let's still stay in the center spread of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. The power distribution services yesterday gave the assurance that the power outage, which hits the Volta and Oti regions on Tuesday, would be restored soon. The two regions have been thrown into darkness since Tuesday afternoon following an explosion at an installation of the power distribution services at Asiak, which cuts off their power supplies. Police deployed to protect Nigerian traders in Kumasi. That's also another issue that is still brewing. Back page of the Ghanaian Times, Ash Gold and Zima Kotoko for finals after beating Kotoko, as in the real Kotoko, Unistar in NC Tier 2 competition. All right, that's it for the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Roland will do the daily guide. Yeah,
I'll start off with the daily guide after doing the Ghanaian Times. We have to thank you. Good morning. The good work you're doing on the show.
Why are you being...
I'm being nice. Now, let's go to the daily guide.
Unnecessarily nice to
daily
me.
Guide has on the front page, alarm blow. Sakawa boys hack banks, telcos. Oh, we're not surprised. Fraud boys. 419. Ofosu Ampafo. Phones, laptops screened. Oshie under siege. CK Tadam goes home. On the back page, Andre Pello sues look alive for 2 years pretense and free designer clothes. Well, that's what he enjoyed for being like Andre Pello, former AC Milan and Juventus great. Apia promises surprises as Afcon kicks off tomorrow. I know Apia. And how did the game go? I think it went well. By God's grace, everything is good. Anyway.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. So we have other stories also there. So you have to just get to the center spread, also get to know what's happening. Chris Atol's wife, killer, still at large. It's a question on the center spread of the News One pullout of the Daily Guide.
Wait, who are we? Are we asking Ghana police or we're asking American police?
I think we're asking ourselves. I don't know. But they'll get to solve, at least there's been some drawings showing somebody who could be a suspect. And we're told that Abraham Atta is to star in Bedman's film. I know Bedman is a rapper. Okay, American rapper here. Will executive produce Tasmanian Devil. Yeah, when it involves blacks, Africans being in terrible roles, Tasmanian. A coming of age film based on the Nigerian immigrants. So I guess okay. And then Kwame Pianim is also saying something. He says power producers propose 30% per tariff increment. And he's the chairman of the Chambers of Independent Power Producers, Distributors and Bulk Consumers. And government borrows that'll be billion. Okay, government borrows that much. That'll be 10.3 billion for third quarter. Now the argument is that borrowing is not bad, so we're on. Let's go to the Daily Dispatch newspaper. The Daily Dispatch, quickly we'll run through. Ghana has lost 9 billion Ghana cedis to corruption in 20 months, according to the CDD. They looked at all the critical numbers and saying that we're in deep. And then we have 15 players to watch at Afcon 2019. I do not know my child's father. I was raped by over 100 men. Please get to page 11 of the Dispatch to get to know.
This has to do with what, Congo?
Yeah.
One of those countries.
Definitely. Rwanda.
Rwanda, okay.
Rwanda. And there are many repeated stories like that because the children grow up and you don't know who the father is. So the mothers have been raising. Focus on the origins of the new patriotic party, page 3. Please, for some good education, get a copy of the Daily Dispatch. You get to know more. And Daily Heritage, IGP-CID boss hot, summoned by angry judge over Gregory Afoko bail issues. We have also other stories on the front page of the Daily Heritage. Daily Heritage. Let's look at the last paper, the Custodian. Custodian. NDC owes poor Metro Mass, the MMT, 1.5 million Ghana cedis.
Which ones are NDC as in the party?
Yeah, they rented buses for their event. They were paid
1.5 million.
Yeah, 1.5 million. Akufo-Addo sets up 5-member salaries and benefits committee. And then House CJ's coming up. House CJ's committee found former EC boss guilty. Government, though, has condemned attacks on Nigerian Nigerian-owned shops. Boss signs CBA with senior staff. And boss, Frank Amebo, good morning to you. It's been a while.
Why are you owning my Frank Amebo?
Oh, we've been talking since you introduced him to me. So
wow.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know about it. Okay, let's do the Business Finder newspaper. Front page of the Business Finder. Exploration taxes spark debate. Chamber wants removal, expects divided. Ghana-China business partnerships crucial, according to the Business Development Minister, Dr. Awal. Zipline drone makes a historic delivery of sickle cell medication. So, you know, you can go through the final newspaper. EcoBank Stand Chart, others name top 10 banks in Ghana. That's on page 7 in the Finder. It says EcoBank Ghana Limited, Standard Chartered Bank, and Zenith Bank Ghana, among others, emerged the most credible bank in Ghana, according to Credmap Technology Ghana Banking Credibility Index. The assessment, which covered the 2018 financial year, saw Stand Chart, Zenith, EcoBank, UBA, Barclays placing first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, respectively. The other top 10 banks are Societe Generale, Stanbic Bank, Fidelity, Access, and GCB. All 30 of Ghana's Tier 1 universal banks were subsequently benchmarked against Credmap's measures compared to each other, and then ranked in what became the GBC1, or a process that has overseen or was overseen by a team of senior technical analysts. And details of that, but some people get a bit skeptical about some of these research, because you find some banks stopping when in reality. So, you know, you can read on details in the Business Finder newspaper and see if the bank that you do business with, they are featured in this as well. I saw some stories in the Ghanaian Times. I thought we would just do a quick wrap on it. On page 3, Ghanaian Times, 2 stories, both of interest. One has to do with the fact that the Criminal Investigations Department has commenced investigations into the seized electronic gadgets of Mr. Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, the NDC national chairman, in an ongoing probe into alleged kidnapping and causing damage case. The Deputy Director of the CID, Assistant Commissioner of Police George Chenibua, disclosed this to the Ghanaian Times in Accra yesterday, stating that a forensic team was currently assessing Mr. Ofosu-Ampofo's mobile phones and computer laptop. Mr. Ampofo yesterday reported that the CID headquarters, as part of the bail term in connection with an alleged kidnappings and causing damage case. They give you the time. They say he arrived at 1:45 p.m. in the company of his lawyers, Mr. Abraham Amalaba, Mrs. Marietta Brew Apia Opong, who met with senior police officers and investigators. There's a background to the story. You can read on page 3 in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. And just down there, there's also another story in a unanimous decision. The Supreme Court yesterday dismissed the case filed by Gregory Afoko, challenging the decision of the Attorney General to discontinue his trial at the High Court. The AG filed nolli prosequi on January 28 to end the trial of Afoko following the arrest of alleged accomplice in neighboring Abidjan on January 25 over allegations that the duo conspired to murder Adam Mahama, the former Upper East Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party. So details of the court's decision also in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. There's one more court-related story which has to do with the Ayawaso West Wagon. And that was, the Supreme Court also made a decision on that. It's in the Daily Graphic newspaper. I'll look for it, Roland. You can do other stories.
Okay, I think we're done looking at the newspapers.
Okay.
You have...
All right. No story of interest? Then let's do myjoyonline.com whilst I look for... Oh, but if you want to know what Mr. Martin Amidu said to the Daily Graphic newspaper.
What did he say?
Okay, so this is on the front page of the Daily Graphic, the beginning of the story. It says the special prosecutor Martin Amidu has taken full responsibility for the defects in the drafting of the charge sheet in the case against the Member of Parliament for Boko Central, Mahama Ayariga, and another. Courts, all we have to do is to make sure that our particulars meets the standard. I welcome the decision of the High Court, and in accordance with Section 14.3 of the Special Prosecutors Act, I take ultimate responsibility for the lapse in the drafting. Mr. Amidu told the Daily Graphic in an exclusive interview in Accra yesterday. So the charges track out against the MP were fraudulent evasion of customs duties and taxes, dealing in foreign exchange without license, and transfer of foreign exchange from Ghana through an unauthorized dealer. Mr. Amidu says, and this is a quote in the conversation, when I got the judgment, I had no doubt that the judge in the case did the right thing by not pronouncing on the ability of the office to investigate and prosecute under the Customs Act or the Foreign Exchange Act.
Yeah, and when you read the story, it's quite interesting, especially what's coming from him. It also, I don't know, if critics want to take him on, we'll say that maybe, even though we know this is what the judge is saying, it also shows that, well, he needs to do a thorough job, knowing that he can get it, I think, majority of the percentage right, than just going in and having or suffering some of these setbacks.
Yeah, but this is normal.
I don't know. It's just a court process and etc. But it doesn't also mean that he can go ahead and subsequently and do his other work related to alleged acts of corruption or crimes that may have been committed, based on which ones that he has the right to prosecute.
So there's only one charge standing as it is now, and it is using public office for private benefits in the case of tax evasion. So that is the only charge really standing against Mr. Mahama Ayariga. And then he also dismisses the claims that there was an ongoing feud between him and Mr. Ayariga. Reason for this. When I hosted Bernard Mona and James Agalga this week, I think it was
this
Monday.
week. I think Bernard it was it Monday? No, 2 days ago.
It was on Monday, right?
No, 2 days ago.
Monday or Tuesday?
3 days ago.
This week.
2 days ago. Yeah.
This week is safe.
A day before yesterday.
Oh, Roland, Tuesday. Okay.
Tuesday.
So, Bernard Mona said
2 days ago.
He didn't expect that the special prosecutor would go after a case like this when there was a much bigger case which had to do with the contaminated fuel, which cost us a lot more because the figures involved in that is huge. And so he thought that would be more like priority instead of going after this one, really. So, different opinions. But he is the special prosecutor, isn't it?
Yes, and we've had the district league table, and CDD has been in the news.
The district league table.
Already we've had a press conference that has been convened by the Asokori Mampong Municipal Chief Executive.
Can we spend just about some few seconds to listen to the MCE, the Mampong Municipal Assembly Chief Executive?
We have
introduced in 2014, has become a social accountability tool for rating all district assemblies by the level of their social development and service delivery, among others. Education, health, sanitation, security, and good governance are said to be some of the key indicators for assessment for the district assemblies. Asante Achim North District came first in the 2018-2019 District League table. Asokot accept the ranking.
Asokoro Mampong was adjudged the last in the country. We sought to know the basis and, of course, the criteria for which they came up with all the figures. Because judging on what they brought out, they said Sokwara Mampong had 0.0%. In actual sense, as Sokwara Mampong, not even 1 mark did the assembly get. It was on the basis of that the Sokwara Mampong Municipal Assembly, we are vehemently protesting the position on the ranking of the district league table as being the last of all the 216 MMDAs in Ghana. We wish to state that 2 persons from the Center for Social Policy Studies, Legon, were here to interview some personnel on the current District Assembly Common Fund formula and propose alternative formula for consideration. We were never told of any assessment or indicators for ranking on the district league table.
Okay, you know, this is very interesting.
It is.
But I want to ask the MC, is he assessing himself? He's disputing, which is okay, but who is he expecting would assess him? Should we take it from you, like what you say? I don't understand.
You know, I don't know. You know, trying to make some commentary after the overall assessment has been undertaken also shows the level of perhaps the interest that should have been there when they were doing the assessment. Because this has been done since 2014, we have to be realistic. And even during the 2017 period, we even had the Upper East region, a lot of the districts, the municipalities in there doing very well, even though the region overall is one of the poorest in our country.
Yeah.
But for you being a representative of the president, who also needs to make sure you have terms on actions and strategy as to how you govern the district. It's surprising that you come to defend yourself after the result is in. What he's doing, the WAEC one, he's doing receipt. He's doing receipt. Seriously, well, what he's doing, he's doing receipt.
I think that it is in his right to dispute what has happened. What I find fascinating is the fact that he does it in the way that he's done it. And he disputes the fact that they say his place is insecure. And they cite the 7 persons who were murdered by the police after the police itself displayed the bodies and told the whole world that were armed robbers. And it turned out through the committee that they were not armed robbers. I wonder what this particular MC did about that matter when we were all talking. So when they say your area is insecure and they cite that incident, by the way, even if it was 1 person, that's a human life. Your area is insecure, it's insecure. Simple and whatever. What did he do? And then you come back and you want to defend yourself and dispute what has happened. You can, but not in the way that you have done. I disagree with you.
And it's surprising that as the MC, you are the head of the Municipal Security Committee.
Yeah.
Yeah. And during the period when the incident happened,
even say anything.
No, well, he said he made 1 or 2 other contributions, etc. But we rather saw publicly the Member of Parliament for the area, Muntaka, rather vociferously trying to defend the people and trying to create the advocacy for security to be improved in the area. If the constituency MP sees it important to be advocating that, it means that there's a problem of security in the area.
Yeah. I think you should listen to your people rather than, you know...
And you shouldn't forget, if you look at the indicators that have been used and what the assessment is based on, it shows largely the areas or the sectors in which, if you are ahead of any MMDCE or DCA, you are improving in the pro-poor areas, sanitation, water, health, etc. You are there to represent the president. Okay, so it's a shame that, let's say, can you imagine that President Akufo-Addo?
We have to go.
has been assessed and he fails, and he comes to organize a press conference and says that, look, this is wrong.
Well, that's possible. It will come through the Ministry of Information. He has a right to dispute it, but you know, you can't write your own exam papers and mark yourself. Somebody's going to mark you.
Exactly.
All right, stay with us, and we'll bring you sports. Nana Asari Bediako is on standby. The story I was referring to, you can check it out. It's on page 20.
Well, not before I mention a regular who is always watching us, Pearl Millicent Dakwa. Good morning to you. Always watching us, former student of GIJ. Not Salifu Combat today. Salifu Combat, though, is with the Boku Presbyterian Hospital.
Oh my God.
He's a pharmacist there. I didn't mention his name.
They brought this upon themselves. I thought they wanted to take a break for sports.
Millicent Pearl, have a good morning.